Alleged journalist Rana Ayyub is under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, which has attached assets worth over 1.77 crore rupees. She is accused of illegally acquiring money from general public in the name of charity and using it for her personal gain. The details accessed by Times Now's Bhavtosh Singh reveal that almost 2.7 crore of these funds raised by crowdfunding were parked in the personal accounts of Rana Ayyub, her sister and her father. The Enforcement Directorate also alleged that of the expenses that Rana Ayyub shows, over 31 lakhs were fake, using fake bills. The final nail in Rana Ayyub's scam coffin is the acknowledgement note that Times Now has accessed. This note was given to those who contributed to Rana Ayyub for charitable purposes. These acknowledgement receipts very clearly say that the donated funds went directly to her personal account, which is completely illegal. But Rana Ayyub has come out and put forth a point-by-point rebuttal to the charges she faces. She says that the money was transferred to her father and sister's account for ease and that she did not receive funds from outside India. And it's not just her. Opposition parties rushed to defend her and slammed the central government for once again misusing agencies to silence dissent. Listen in.
कोई भी पत्रकार जब सही आवाज़ उठाता है, जनता का नुमाइंदा कोई सही आवाज़ उठाता है, तो ये ईडी, सीबीआई, सीडी सारे हरकत में आ जाते हैं.
Whoever they don't like, because of the anti-government stance, are being harassed by the ED or the FT officials. All the government machineries are now put into operation to support the people's right to speak, right to expression, and fighting them.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And Smita Prakash and Tehseen Poonawala continue to be with us, but joining us on the debate, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, political analyst, Ratan Sharda, author. Also joining us tonight is advocate Kapil Madan, Congress supporter. And I want to ask you, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, personal use, funds found there, and this is just for ease of use, says Rana Ayyub. Now, is it allowed under the laws of India, crowdfunding money that is brought in for charitable purposes are lying not in a NGO or an organization that is doing this charity work, but in the individual accounts of family members of the person who's in her name raising this money? Simple explanation given by her, but does it really wash?
Navika, it absolutely does not. Just like Gujarat files and that hagiography of her in Kashmir that the New Yorker ran, there is zero proof of any of this. The only thing we have proof of is that she violated her contractual terms with that organization, Keto. She raised it under 3 specific headings. She did nothing with the money. She then puts it into her personal accounts, not just of her, but of her sister and her father, in a fixed deposit. She then claims that, I wanted to set up a hospital, but people were intimidated. They did not want to join the board. Now, if you go to her Twitter timeline, all I see is big names jumping up and down to support her in any way possible. Are you telling me that all the big names who support her on Twitter refuse to be on her board because they were intimidated, even though they all claim to be paragons of independent journalism? Or were they purchased out, or were they covered? In which case, or did they know, more importantly, that she's a fraud and they continue to promote a fraud? This is a very serious issue. The second issue here is, if she did not have an FCRA clearance, all she had to do was tell Keto folks that she did not have an FCRA clearance. Are you telling me that an organization like Keto, whose job it is to raise money, does not know that they can't give FCRA to a person without an FCRA clearance? That they actually set up an entire fund without asking her for an FCRA clearance? I work for an organization that has FCRA clearance, and I can tell you that you can't do anything of this sort, and the banks always ask you for money. Organizations that fund, crowdfund, ask you for the documentation and things like that for your FCRA clearance. So this does not make sense. Next, if you look at the monies received in dollars and the monies given out, there is a difference of a few $1,000s out there. Then there is the fundamental issue out here that she claims to have spent 40 lakhs. Now it's come down. First she was claiming she spent 70 lakhs. Now it has come down to 40 lakhs. But if you look at the auditing and accounting of it, she is only able to account for 28 lakhs. So where has the remaining 12 lakhs gone as per her account now? Or more likely the 32 to 42 lakhs that she has actually not accounted for. There are too many questions out here. Mind you, her rebuttal isn't a rebuttal. She has actually validated every single charge that the Enforcement Directorate has leveled against her. She has not contradicted one charge that they have leveled against her.
Well,
and there is a fundamental legal principle in this country, ignorantis juris non excusat. The ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You can't just go and say, because nobody told you killing is a crime, you can't just say I murdered someone. Oh, but I didn't know it was a crime. You have to do your research on these things. So I'm sorry, but her statement is the clearest validation of everything the ED has said.
well, Tehseen Poonawalla, I want to ask you, well, not just because she's been a critic of the government, but this whole argument that agencies go after people who are against the government. Agencies are going after her because there is a case, as Abhijit Iyer Mitra has pointed out. And if there is a case, can this argument actually stand on its own legs? That, oh, agencies are just targeting her because she belongs to the anti-Modi or anti-BJP brigade. Tehseen Poonawalla.
We cannot take away from the fact that Rana Ayyub had exposed the 2002 riots and had brought into fore how these riots were pre-planned and they were a genocide committed from the government, which of course did not stand in court, but that was her investigative work. The fact of the matter is that in 1,700 raids in 9 years under the ED, they've managed 9 convictions, a hit rate of 0.52. And every time there is election,
do you have anything to say on Rana Ayyub? If you don't, then I'll give your
raid.
precious time to somebody else, because this debate is about Rana Ayyub.
You are asking me about ED. You asked me about ED.
No, I'm asking.
Your question was about ED.
In the Rana Ayyub context. In the Rana Ayyub context.
In the Rana Ayyub context.
Yes.
In the Rana Ayyub context, ED with a hit of 0.52% has a patent. Just like Rana Ayyub, every election, ED will do a raid, put out stories.
Oh, so Rana Ayyub is elected to elections?
And convict.
Rana Ayyub is standing for elections? Is Rana Ayyub standing for elections? I'm getting confused, bhai.
But she is obviously not a favorite of the government.
No, I'm getting confused.
She's obviously not a favorite of the government. I recollect with you.
Is ED's track record
don't be
bad?
confused. I'll explain
Is
to
it
you.
something to do with elections? Because Rana Ayyub is fighting for elections. इशू क्या है? मुझे समझा दीजिए प्लीज. मुझे नहीं समझ आता इतनी बड़ी जलेबी. I cannot understand.
Navika, I just want you to observe the extremely mischievous smile on my friend
Tehseen under SK Mishra.
Please notice this sly little, very cute smile that he's giving right now, which should tell you everything you need to know.
Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling, Tehseen? No, why are you smiling? Abhijit is asking you.
I'm smiling because I recollected. I'm explaining to both you and Abhijit, who I love dearly. Here's the smile. I've been on several debates with Navika Ji when ED raids. The incompetent ED puts out stories that for example, for my friend Kartik Chidambaram, we found this ABCD, and 9 years down the line, they found nothing. Then the story repeats. As for your question on Rana, it's as simple as daylight that the government of the day does not like Rana Ayyub, so they've gone after.
So in the middle of elections now, instead of going after opposition parties, they are now busy with Rana Ayyub because you said it's election time. रतन शारदा जी, ये कनेक्शन क्या है मुझे समझ नहीं आया, पर आप समझा दीजिए व्यूअर्स को. I think you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, what I was saying that I must hand it over to the left secular illiberal lobby, that they stand together whatever happens. They will defend the indefensible. They'll smile through, laugh through the worst kind of crimes just to defend their friends. He says that because she wrote a book about Mr. Modi, now she has a right to do any crime. Has he denied any of the criminal statements which have been given by the ED, which has been exposed by Op India? Has she denied any of this? No. She has made a roundabout statement. She did not use the funds for the purpose she collected it. She did not use NGO. For a lady who has international connections, who is investing with a journalist, who is a paragon of virtue and paragon of honesty, for her to claim very disingenuously that I use my personal account for ABC banner because it is an NGO. She says no foreign account, but Cato says 80 lakh rupees received as foreign contribution. Are we denying that? Are we denying that she used the money in her personal account? She could not use the money. She did not use the money for purpose it was meant to be. And finally, when she gets scared, she puts the money in Modi PM Care account, which she hates, which she abuses day and night. So what is the cause for this? So this is open and shut case. Whether ED gets through the rot is not the issue, but the facts stated, which she has accepted, tells you that there was a crime. I cannot say unknowingly because that lady has biggest lawyers with her. She has the best possible investigative skills where she could indict Modi even though court could not indict Modi. And so court will not
Ratan
will set
Shardaji,
Modi
you said
free,
liars.
She will not.
She has the biggest liars with her. What did you say?
Lawyers.
Oh, lawyers.
Lie तो करते ही हैं, मैं तो lawyers की बात.
Sorry. I didn't hear it correctly.
No, she is a liar. Clearly, she is trying to defend the indefensible because she has accepted. So money goes to father's account, sister's account. It goes to an organization where she gives a check in today's time. She has the money in bank. She doesn't get nest. She uses a check. Very conveniently, check is returned.
Prakash.
So all this is such a fairy tale story that I pity the people who buy this story. Should I laugh or cry?
Tehseen is buying the story. Tehseen is buying this story. And Tehseen thinks this has something to do with elections. Tehseen thinks this has something to do with elections. I'm not getting the
Navika,
connection.
it does. Just one quick point, Navika. It absolutely does. And Tehseen knows very well that after Rahul Gandhi, Rana Ayyub is the BJP star campaigner. Nobody gets the BJP more votes than Rana Ayyub except Rahul Gandhi.
Well,
so let us be very clear about this. She is a great ally of BJP.
Smita, you know, everybody is taking this matter rather lightly, and I don't want you to take this lightly. I want to ask you a very serious question. You know, charitable work for COVID victims. That was one of the reasons for which this money was raised. Money doesn't get used, gets transferred to personal accounts of father, sister, Rana Ayyub. And that is not something that she's contested. She said that she put it in fixed deposits because she wanted to earn interest and the hospital wasn't coming. Now, people who were donating, why were they not helping her build that hospital? I don't know. She even returned some money, but some money was used for personal expenses and some bills do not work. Now, I just want to know, just because somebody is anti-government, anti-Modi, should they not have the income tax department looking into their accounts, or should agencies look the other way? Because you know, if you look at anti-Modi people, then then you can just get away by abusing agencies and saying, "Oh, this is a hatchet job." Is that the way law in India works?
No. How law in India works, that also about journalists. I mean, she's supposedly a journalist, but I think she's more of a columnist because she has these columns. I don't know about her. She did some journalism, they say. I mean, even Tehseen just said that it didn't hold up in court, but that is her journalism. Which article of yours or which show of yours can go on air and not hold up in court, but it is journalism? That doesn't work. And as Abhijit says, not knowing the law is not an option, especially not for a journalist, right? I mean, you try as a journalist to park a car wrong and you tell the cop that मैं story करने जा रही हूँ, मुझे wrongly park करने दो, he will charge you you double fees. He'll tell you you're a journalist and you're breaking the law. So we have to do double work and we have to be doubly sure that we are following the law. So anyway, coming back to Rana, this thing about, I mean, anybody knows that, FCRA account, and she happily takes money on her personal account from so many random charity purchases that are going on, charity deposits that are going on. These anonymous deposits, they flow in without any NGO behind her which shows any work doing. I mean, if you want to make a deposit, logically, you have 1,000 rupees or you have 10,000 rupees or you have 1 lakh rupees which you have saved up and you want to donate for charity. You want to do it because it's the shraddh of your father, grandfather or whatever. What will you do? You'll first find out whether there's an NGO, no? You'll first give it to an organization, whether it is Help Aid or whether it is Uday Foundation, any Annapurna, anybody who's giving food, housing, something they're doing, or PM Care or anybody who's doing any kind of charity, right? Would you give it to an individual who is just randomly on social media and has a column in a foreign media, and that is why you're doing it because of her political leanings?
हमें कोई नहीं देता है और हम गलत पाक करें तो हमारा फोटो खींच के सोशल मीडिया पे आप कहेंगे. And if we, some of us go and interview the Prime Minister, we are called dhak. And we should not call people scamsters even when these kind of details come out. Come on, 2 laws.
So
My India, 2 Bharat.
First of all,
2 Bharat. 2 Indias, 2 Bharat.
Why she does not have a PAN card?
Ratan Sharda ji, there are no Kapil Madans here. There is
no, just one question.
Okay, why no PAN card? Okay, no PAN card also. नहीं, ऐसे लोगों को टैक्स नहीं लगना चाहिए. कपिल मदान
तो लेना ही पड़ता है मैडम, अकाउंट खोलने के लिए पैन कार्ड लेना पड़ता है.
Let us be very, very clear that the investigation is the prerogative of all the investigating agencies, and they are well within their rights to investigate if they feel that there is something wrong. Now, having said that, I'll give you something, which is very, very technical, and as a lawyer and with some sense of responsibility, I am telling you. Now, whenever there is an attachment order by the ED, only 3 people will have the information. One is the attaching officer and the ED. The second would be the adjudicating authority under the PMLA to whom you have to send the attachment order. The third would be the person whose property is attached.
Well, Kapil Madan, come be a journalist with me. For 28 years, I've covered these agencies, and every time there is an attachment of a business house of any small time, there is a press release that comes out. Kapil Madan, I will send you 2,500 press releases that have been. Now, 2,500. Now you wait and watch on your WhatsApp. I will send you 2,500 press releases on these issues. Press releases.
I have a discussion with you.
Yes.
The point is, now the point I'm trying to make here, you may have a press release, you may do the press release, whatever you have done, there is no problem. But the point is, the information that you have collected, the documents that you have collected during the course of the investigation, that if that is coming in public domain, that shows only one thing.
Well, then
Kapil
Madan, you need to see the files of Times Now over the last 16 years. Many of those documents that are not supposed to be in public domain have been brought into the public domain by journalists like us. And therefore, that argument, just like the other argument given by Tehseen Poonawalla, that this is election time and because she wrote a book on Narendra Modi and 2002, are so lame that they can't even walk one step. Well, we'll give you time. Think about it. Think of some solid reasons to defend what you're defending, and we'll have another debate another day. Till then, thank you very much for joining me on this debate tonight. Thanking all my viewers too. That's all for now. Friday evening, have a safe weekend. COVID has not gone away. Take care, and we'll see you on Monday.